All right, welcome to topic 4. So this week we're looking at the Civil War and Reconstruction. I think many people could argue that Reconstruction did not go as intended, and that is why almost 100 years later we see things like the Civil Rights Act, 1964, the Voting Rights Act, 1965, we see the Fair Housing Act, 1968, and had Reconstruction gone as intended, those protections that come about in the 60s, the 1960s, could have been available almost 100 years earlier. So this is a big week, a very tragic week. So we see the Civil War. We see brother against brother. That's hard. The Civil War was hard. It was fought on our soil, our people. It was hard and awful, but had to be so that we could end the practice of slavery, which it was essential that we end it. So you're discussing General Grant, his strategies for success in your first discussion. Then you're looking at the purpose of Reconstruction versus its actual results. In your second discussion, you have an assignment. You get to pick an individual from the list. All are fabulous. I looked at it. I was going to pick like my top 3 to talk about, but I couldn't whittle it down. Every individual there, you cannot go wrong. There's tons of information. It's recommended that you do your research through the GCU library and the course materials. And you need to have 3 to 5 sources. Make sure that you do. They need to be scholarly. So this is not Wikipedia. This is like peer-reviewed journal articles. If you have a source you want to use and you don't know if it's scholarly or not, please reach out to me. But one of the first things you can look to is who wrote it. And then you can Google that person. And a lot of times their education will come up or their occupation, something that gives you an idea, is this scholarly or not? Also, footnotes. Scholarly work is going to have footnotes. It will have consulted primary sources, other things. And primary sources are great too. If you can find a journal, if you can find, for example, Frederick Douglass has writings that you could go straight to, those would be excellent primary sources. Primary sources, I love them always if they're available because they give a view that hasn't gone through anybody else's filter. Everything that we do is biased. I can witness something and write about it, and I'm going to have a bias, whether I realize it, intend it, or not. There's going to be a bias. But that emotion that would come from me writing about it versus me telling someone about it and then them writing about it later, you're going to have raw emotion through the primary source accounts. So I do recommend some primary sources, even if they're just to inform your own knowledge. So for secondary sources, scholarly sources, the ticket is who wrote it, what's their education, what's their occupation, what's their experience, and do they have footnotes? And then look at those footnotes. If every footnote is to Wikipedia, then again, that's probably not a scholarly article. But they're probably citing to numerous things. So those are some helpful tidbits that might help you recognize scholarly versus non-scholarly. And then remember participation. Those are 6 interactive replies to your peers. They need to be substantive all week long. So reach out with questions. And if you have any missing or late assignments, please reach out. I can reassign those to you for full credit opportunities. All right, have a great week.